Hi everyone, Madonna and Joy. This is our first treatment since the breast surgery before Christmas, removing the lump. The current medical thinking is chemo over several months, as you can imagine, and then a bunch of radiation. But we still have the fear of death, the fear of dying, all of that sort of thing.
And needles.
And needles, so there's a whole bunch of needles involved, weekly blood tests and all sorts of things, and pretty much passed out before with needles, so there's a whole fear going on there in the background. And for me, I have a huge fear of the chemo radiation sort of route. So without me being part of this balance, we're going to certainly make sure the brain's up and running to make the best decisions she can for herself with all the information she has. But because the brain is so discombobulated since the diagnosis back in November, just want to keep making sure that the brain's working as effectively as possible so that she can make the best choices for her and her family. But mostly for you. Okay, and hold. And she was saying the weird thing is that since the operation, that hasn't been what's caused most of the pain. It's been the bursitis in the hips. Has been dreadful since then. Okay, so there's just a little hidden deep survival pattern. That's not too bad. 1 out of 3 ain't bad.
Meatloaf.
Meatloaf, exactly. So, let's go have a look. Yeah, okay, so no surprise whatsoever. The first part of the unconscious brain showing up that's stressed is the part about conflict. Should I, shouldn't I? Got to keep in mind she has 8 sisters, and I'm sure all of them have a bit of a opinion.
And 2 of them have already had breast cancer.
2 of them have already been through the whole surgery process.
And the chemo and the radiation.
And the chemo and the radiation, with different side effects for each of the sisters. Yeah, so the brain's wanting to run away, so your amygdala's stuck in escape submission freeze.
I thought the brain may have already run away.
Picking up the brain. Yeah, blowing the base chakra. So just not feeling safe. Not feeling safe, not feeling secure.
I don't know.
Do you know if your mum had the same type of breast cancer?
If they haven't changed what they do, Trace, Marita and I had triple negative, and therefore tamoxifen would never been any use to us.
Yes.
Mum had tamoxifen.
Oh, okay.
So
hers was estrogen dependent. Okay.
Possibly.
Yeah. No, it would have been if they gave her tamoxifen.
Since that's so many years ago, 97 she died, so she must have got it in 95. I don't know if that long ago they would have known the difference. They probably did.
Oh, yeah, right.
And Mona didn't get any treatment because Mum's sister, because she was so far advanced. And one of my sisters said, but Mona kept getting so upset because she was getting no treatment at all. I think her expression was, so if they gave us tamoxifen to shut her up.
Oh, did they? Yeah, right.
But they reckon the doctors had already told her it wouldn't do any good.
Yeah.
So, but she was so terribly upset because she couldn't get treatment because it was, but hers and Mum's certainly didn't go the same way. Mum's went into her, they claimed it didn't go into her liver, that was from her drinking and shit a brick. She probably had, certainly in all the years I knew her, I'd never seen her have a drink. If she saw anyone have a drink, she'd cut a bloody spastic attack. If she thought you even put bloody tablespoon of rum in your fruitcake, she wouldn't eat it, and blasted you from here to kingdom come. So, but
good Catholic woman.
No, she was she just didn't drink and believe in it. Once she had a few drunks in the family, so I suppose she might have reason.
How has your tummy been feeling? Like, how are you coping with the stress? Are you feeling it in your body at all?
Every time I go to see them and they start, the last time that I was there was the first time that I didn't feel like throwing up on their feet when they talked about needles.
Okay, well done. Yeah, because the first organ showing up that's being affected by the stress is your stomach.
I
so
would think so, because it's half the time it's been sitting there going in the, like it was on bloody roller coaster
yeah,
with a shark chasing you and you didn't know how to ride a roller coaster. It's just been, it felt like, you know, the pictures, the thing of those eddies or maelstroms or something.
yeah,
That's what my guts was like.
yeah. But so far, you've had ultrasounds, so you're in good nick, so you can do, so they say that you can do the chemo and radiation now.
What's an ultrasound? An echogram?
Oh, yep, checked out your heart.
Yes, but when I was there yesterday, that was done on Monday. But on Tuesday when I was there having to make all these appointments and things to get a potty put in, a port put in.
If you choose to do the chemo, yeah.
Well, I told them I'd have a port put in. I think they're going to ring me in a minute to tell me what the date of the thing is, since they said they'd do it 15 minutes ago.
I assume your volume's on your phone.
I'd hope so. They rang when I was driving and there was nowhere to pull over. I was on the freeway.
Yeah.
But they haven't, I've got to have a blood test to see if my blood is coagulating good enough to do it. I presume it was when I had a breast cancer, because I didn't have any bleeding there. I mean, if it was internal.
Hold on, going back. Hold up. Perfect. Shoulders are good at the moment. They're the least of your worries, I imagine.
My armpits stink.
Okay. Hold.
Probably literally and being.
Hold up. 40-degree heat.
Yeah, they just feel awfully uncomfortable, whatever you do.
Yeah. Do you have to wear deodorant these days?
They didn't say I couldn't.
Yeah. You do use an aluminium-free one? Okay. Hold up for me. Hold up for me. Yeah, right. Okay. Part of the musculature that helps your hips, which is of course linked in with your bursitis, is the psoas and iliacus. They relate to fear and anxiety. So given your bursitis has been so bad since the diagnosis, maybe that's part of the equation.
I had bursitis from being bloody scared shitless.
Oh, it's...
It wasn't just since the operation. I had it in hospital before the operation,
Yeah.
but that was still probably being scared shitless. And the day before I had the operation, I did have a blood test and 4 needles stuck in my tit.
Yeah.
And I didn't enjoy any of them. They pumped a lot of purple dye or red dye or blue dye. It was.
I'm sure it was very pretty.
I'm sure that at least one of them described it as sounded like they were putting tinsel in there so that it'd bucket and shine so they could see where it was going out through the lymphatic nodes, but they probably were giving me a visual that's
Just going to check some of the connections between left and right. So I think that survival pattern.
it's a bit scary. There's at least one doctor and 2 nurses that now recognise me at the PA.
Yeah,
Apart
right.
from my granddaughter.
Yeah. So no surprise, your brain's not trusting at the moment that everything's going to be okay. So
Trusting
trust
anyone.
and trust issues.
Including me. Probably not even poor
Hold
freaking
on.
dog.
Yeah. So your brain would much rather run away than trust anyone at the moment. Go hide in the corner.
So they put her in a round room.
Okay, so trust and trust issues. And hold, perfect. Yeah, and your feel-good hormones have sort of flattened a bit, so in relation
You
to...
sure that I still have any?
sadness, despondency, depression. And hold, okay. So what that's doing is shutting down your frontal cortex, so it's hard to take in all the information.
God, I can't take it in.
Yeah. Oops, sorry. And again, sadness, beautiful, despondency, depression. Excellent. RAS, okay. So RAS is about survival. So every time you hear something new, it's freaking out your brain again.
And because I know 4,000 people with breast cancer and everyone has had something different.
Yeah.
And even the people I know that have survived 30 or 40 years will have traced bloody death as a post, and certainly her personality has changed, I think.
Yeah. So that was because every time you hear the news, it's like a triple shot of coffee. Makes the heart pump, makes you feel stressed, makes you get the, so it's sort of like acetylcholine's being released, trying to keep you alert and awake and paying attention, but cortisol shuts down short-term memory, so then you don't remember what you've heard anyway.
Well, I can guarantee that. Or I get home and I've heard something that people... I gather that Tootie and I didn't necessarily hear the same thing, and I was so buggered after Nicky got me home at 7:30.
Yeah.
I didn't have the heart to ring her up and ask her what she said.
Huge crazy day. Okay. So, and again, there's another circuit with the reticular activating system though. So this time, once again, you hear bad news, your brain stresses out, but then it shuts down your serotonin. So you get the combo, you get the acetylcholine creating that heart pumping anxiety, and then you've got your brain shutting down your serotonin, stopping you from relaxing and feeling safe and happy. Because your brain wants you to feel alert. Doesn't want you to be relaxed and happy with your serotonin, your feel-good hormones. But then it's not calming down quickly enough afterwards. It's becoming a bit of a pattern in your brain because you keep on hearing stuff.
I have my two little things for getting my brain to deactivate and leave me alone. I can do either cryptic crossword puzzles. The others are okay, but cryptic ones are using more brain power or reading.
Yeah, right. Have you ever heard about chewing gum for settling down anxiety?
Have you ever chewed gum with false teeth at muscle plate?
No, I haven't.
You chew, it all sticks onto your gum and onto your false teeth, and then it takes a year and a half to get it off.
I mean, I suppose you could do the same thing with like chopped up celery or something like that, something that requires a crunch, or chopped up...
Why?
Because the chewing makes your brain, like if you're in the wild and you're about to get eaten, you won't have an appetite. So by chewing something, and it has to be something crunchy, so something like carrot or celery, then what it's doing is telling your brain, okay, I'm not going to get eaten by a tiger because I wouldn't be bothering eating something if I was about to die in 25 seconds. So chewing can calm anxiety down in the same way that holding a pen in your teeth can help.
Ah.
So you know that one?
I can run around with a pen in my mouth
Yeah.
better than I can eat celery all day.
Yeah, because that activates smile hormones.
Yes, I discovered it for me correct, so I can actually sing the Sheik of Scrubby Creek with a pen in here.
Okay, we do not want a rendition. Now, because your bursitis has been playing up, I'm going to check your femur bones. So, hold up for me.
My knees have been
And hold.
playing up too lately.
Oh, okay.
They take it in turns.
I know you hate it, but I'm thinking something like arthrex. Poor little joints.
Oh, that's it.
Chocolate stuff. But yeah, you know, sometimes when they're doing operations, they do, like there's a few different drugs they can give you under. They can give you the anaesthetic, obviously, but they can also give localised anaesthetics. There's also one they do that freezes the muscles. So they sort of, and I don't know what it's called, but there's a drug that makes all your muscles, you know, not move, because otherwise we might be flailing around when we're sleeping and they don't want
Well,
you
they must
moving.
have done something with that arm, because it was sore immediately I got out, but it wasn't sore like they'd cut it or anything. It was sore like it had been, like you'd slept on it the wrong way.
Yeah, right.
And it was mainly sore here on this side.
Yeah.
And I think they must have done me up like,
They might have had you clamped or...
I thought they might have put me on a cross to see if I was worthy of.
Jesus worthy.
Yeah. But it was only that arm. And it wasn't, it didn't, none of the feelings, it felt like, you know, so I presumed that they tied it up so I wouldn't hit them while they were cutting pieces in me under my arm and in my tit.
Yeah, so anyway, one of the drugs is something that makes the muscles not move. So I don't know whether it's a numbing agent. Anyway, whatever it is, just imagine if that did something similar to your muscles around the pelvis, because it's all in the bloodstream. So maybe some other muscles were messed with around the bursitis, because certainly they're not in the hip socket properly, so they're doing better now. Let's check, and your psoas wasn't working. It connects from here to the lower back.
Hey, what's a psoas?
Psoas is the muscle from here to the inside of your lower back.
Not so as to see better.
Haha, no. No, so let me see if there's any other muscles that were... Okay, so how's your lungs been, your breathing, or is it hard to tell because you've been so exhausted? Hold back.
I haven't done enough exercise to know.
Okay.
No, sometimes you walk out to the clothesline and back, and that's not far. And you have to sit down for 10 minutes before you go and take the next lot of clothes out, eh?
Yeah, right.
But that's not every day. That's just some...
How's the pain in there now?
Look, there hasn't been much pain in the breast at all. There was a lot of discomfort
Yeah.
with the armpit, but that was from...
They took 3 lymph nodes.
And it's got an extra scar here, so every time you...
Yeah.
That movement, of course,
Yes.
was sort of attacking the scar, rubbing the
Hold back.
scar more than... It was more disagreeable rather than painful.
Okay.
Like every so often with the tit, there'll be little things, shit, oh, what was that?
Yeah.
But by the time you finish the shitting to bring forward with the pain, it's done.
Hold in, don't let me pull out. Holding in, no, that's okay. So that's your lat dorsi, which relates to pancreas, which relates to blood sugar. It's nice and strong. Let me check this one. Hold down. That one's okay. Hold down. That one's okay. And pinky. And now I'm lifting up. No, that's good. Hold. Okay, maybe it's overworking.
I was telling some of my friends, I was so pleased with myself, this was last week, because I could even have no trouble with ordering my bras up at the back, and whoever I was telling, none of them could do it. They were all lots younger than me and had members. And Marita hasn't been able to do it for years.
Yeah, I was saying to someone this morning that I used to think people who had one of my clients has got a clothing stick, so she uses a stick to put on her clothes. And I thought that was funny until I had a sore neck like 10 years ago and I couldn't move my neck
What's
for
a
3
clothing
months.
stick?
It just hooks into the, you know, so you use it to pull shirts down around, you know, when you can't move your arms and shoulders. I'm sure it's probably a coat hanger or something, you know, put in a particular position.
I knew that you could buy aids for old people to put their stockings on or anti-over.
I'll double check your brain again. Sissy, trust us as please. So this is, okay, so, yeah, right, this makes sense. Hippocampus, memory centre, short-term memory. And this little point is to do with, hold, what am I going to get out of it? So
What?
it's like your brain doesn't want to bother remembering information being given to you because you know you're not going to get any pleasure out of it anyway. So what is the good of you knowing all the ins and outs of all your chemotherapy? You're either going to do it or you're not. So the ins and out of it just give your brain the willies at the moment.
I've always felt like that. But you and Jimmy have never understood that. I've always felt like that about anything medical, including your stuff and Jimmy's stuff. Then because it isn't
And hold.
like if you wanted to teach me how to write a book or to publish a book or the bylaws of or how many cat control or storage treatment, well, I'd be interested in that.
And hold.
Ah,
Now
what
that
have we
one
got
is
there?
long-term memory. Doesn't want to bother getting it from short-term to long-term memory. So your brain doesn't want to bother remembering at the moment. It's working actively against remembering information.
Ah, shit, when I need to.
Well, do you need to? It's more about paying attention, feeling what's right for you. And even like you say, if you give the chemo a go and you have such big side effects and then you choose not to do it again.
I have asked at every session, if it's too bad, can I quit?
Yeah.
I would hate them to bring the police round and make me finish it if I thought it was too bad.
I don't think they quite do that. If you were 3 years old, they might force you to do it.
They might force your mother to. If you're a 17-year-old, they might force your mother to.
Yeah.
Yes, and you know someone, don't you?
Yes. Certainly do.
And I know lots
Well,
of...
even your mum. They flew her into Toowoomba to do something she didn't want to do.
What?
I think they were going to take the breast or give a chemo or radiation or something she upped
I
up
thought-
and said, I'm not doing that. I never wanted to do it, and they had lied to her about why they took her to the hospital.
Oh, I thought she went there to have her liver looked at.
Yeah, but they were also going to do something else.
For heaven's sake, she wasn't batty. She might have been cranky.
Absolutely.
She might have been a cranky old...
Hey, I agree. Hold.
And I mean, certainly she was telling us all sorts of funny stories, but they told us it wasn't dementia, it was the delirium liver cancer. Does give you, whatever they called it, they refused to admit that it was caused by the breast cancer. Of course it was caused by the frigging breast cancer, whatever they frigging lied about. It wasn't, and it sure as hell under no circumstances whatsoever was from bloody drinking alcohol. Might have been from
They
food.
just don't have a concept of what else causes liver stuff. They're just so focused on the alcohol. It was funny, I was listening to Walter Williams one night on 4BC, and he was saying, it was in the days...
Walter Williams.
He's the guy I was on radio with every night for like 8 years or something. But he was actually reading out his blood work. And because he's a big boy, they always expect everything to be wrong, but he leads a pretty healthy lifestyle. And so anyway...
We have a mutual friend that's this fat, and they always ask her about her smoking, which she's never done in her life, and
Yeah,
was her
right.
husband.
So a couple of Walter's liver marks were high, so they said to him, well, you really have to cut out alcohol. And he said, I drink alcohol once every 3 months at a party. And they said, well, that's what you have to do. Anyway, I heard him saying about it in the afternoon. I thought, I'll bet we're going to be talking about alcohol and liver tonight on the radio, which we did. There's so much more to the liver. So I think we're clear with this little circuit. So it was a hidden deep survival pattern. Hold.
I certainly want to survive. That is what I wouldn't have been even thinking about chemo, except I wish to survive, and well, really, Doug's 90. He'll probably live for another 10 or 14 years, so I don't want to die before that.
So how do you say an affirmation in the positive and in the now? You need to say, I am a survivor.
I want to live to 115, right, that'll
Well,
do.
want isn't, you need to tell your brain that it is happening.
Oh, bloody hell,
I am,
brain, I need to live to be 115 so I can get all my books written. So just get on with it.
and hold. Okay, so there's a bit of a stress with that. Let's just have a look. Is there psychological reversal? Yes, there is. Want, need, think, safe, believe, deserve, trust. Okay, so there's a safety pattern in there. Your brain doesn't think it's safe. And once again, don't forget, at the moment, your brain believes this is what your life is like.
Like what?
Now. It feels stress, you feel discombobulated. Imagine that lasting another 30 years. So just asking that question, your brain went, this is a safety issue. So we need to convince the brain that this is just a blip. We're going to get past this. This is just a blip. It is safe to let go of this problem. Hold.
I have to hold them up.
It is safer to keep this problem.
Why
Hold.
holding up?
You're doing exactly what you always do. You're doing good.
But you never tell me if I'm holding them up or down.
You're just holding them. Sometimes they stay up, sometimes they go down because there's a stress. You did exactly what you're supposed to do. That's part of your brain. Why would I bother remembering this? But what that did before too, the short-term, long-term memory thing, not wanting to remember because you're not getting anything out of it because you get no pleasure from remembering it, it then shuts down the motivation. So the motivation being low shuts down your
But
dopamine
the
and
motivation
serotonin.
shuts out if the motivation might shut down everything, but doesn't just shut down the motivation about that, it shuts down the motivation by everything.
Absolutely, because it's in your survival pattern. Oh, what'd you do? Are you cramping somewhere?
I'm not cramping, that hip just decided to
Okay.
attack me badly,
Okay,
as it does.
as it does. It is safe to let go of this problem. Hold. That's better. Want, need, think, safe, believe, deserve, trust. It was trust. I trust I can let go of this problem. And hold. Okay.
Which problem am I letting go of?
Having cancer, living another 30 years. Couple of double whammies here. There's real frustration and anger that this has happened in your life, and it's also switched off your pleasure reward centres. So it's making it harder just to relax.
Getting the car to die and Doug's phone to die and all of this shit at the same time, and then
Yes, a kerfuffle of a day.
then,
Yes.
and you know, and
I trust I
adding
can
on
let
top
go of
that,
this problem.
you know,
and
having to
hold.
take the dog to the vet and him having a $600 operation and the person dying and the other one's marriage breaking up, and you think, Christ almighty, how am I going to put up with this?
Not an easy month.
This has started about a week before or fortnight before my birthday. So it's been a bit
3 months of stress.
Yes.
Yeah.
full on.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all very well to say, well, you know,
I trust I can let go of
it's
this
not
problem.
not my marriage broken
Oh.
up, but in front of you
Grandkids.
or something. And the death also, one of our direct descendants or families.
Yeah. Okay. I'll double check those psychological reversal statements. Want, need, think, safe, believe, deserve, trust. Good. We need a flower essence. Yeah, right. The flower essence is Waratah. Waratah's for when you go into a depression and you can't
That's because
can't dig your way out.
Because I'm driving a New South Wales car and that's the national flower, isn't it?
And the state of origin will start again soon. And then you'll feel like a traitor.
I still expect our side to win.
Oh, always.
Maroons, of course, not the other blue things.
Mm-hmm. Not the cockroaches.
The other cockroaches.
No, we're not. They're the New South
Oh.
Welshmen.
That's right.
You funny thing.
Doug thinks we're bullfrogs. But I
I've
think
got
we're
no idea.
It's cane toads, I think.
No idea. I just know they're cockroaches.
No, we're cane toads, I think. The whiny one and the cane toad. I think that was someone called them cane toads to insult them, so they thought, yeah, we'll be cane toads.
I'm going to check these little guys at the side. Hold out. Don't let me pull into the centre. That's good. Hold out. Don't let me pull into the centre. Okay. That was obviously painful. Was it painful or was that in preparation for pain?
It was painful. But
Okay.
I still held
No,
it out,
no.
didn't I?
Just checking.
Didn't I held it out even if it was painful?
Look, sometimes I go to pick something up off the floor and I make a noise and Jason says, what was that? And I say, oh, I didn't actually hurt myself. I was expecting to hurt
Well,
myself.
it was already hurting before you did it, so I mean, who knows what it was doing.
Yeah. So
It's hurting now, it was hurting as I told you before, so
Okay.
obviously, I don't know why you did it. Might have been like farting, it just happened. Except it didn't smell as bad.
And hold. Did that hurt less? Or did you... Okay. And I'm also going to check your glutes. Hold up. No, that's good. And hold up. Good. So your glutes are still working. I'm going to check the muscles on the insides. So hold your legs together. Don't let me pull out on the right. Don't let me pull out on the left. Hold. Love these pants. Very pretty.
Man, that's all that bloody Pilates and yoga. Even I've hardly done any this
No, that's
year.
great.
I've
So
done hardly any this year.
really only the psoas, which connects from here to the lower back, was out. Actually, let me check your quadriceps. Bend the leg.
What's a quadricep?
This one here.
I don't know if I can bend that leg very much.
No, that's it. Hold. Don't let me push down. Perfect. And hold. No, they're all good. So the only pain we had was on the right glute medius.
Yes,
Except your bones were out of the sockets. Yep.
yesterday, or a couple of days